Welcome to the advice column. Today we're going to be talking about blended learning. And so I got this question kind of a lot this week. I want to start using blended learning in my classroom, but I need to know maybe like what type of blended learning there is. How can I organize what blended learning is and all of that kind of stuff? So, first off, it's amazing that a lot of teachers are excited to start using blended learning in their classroom. So, here are a couple of different ideas. So the first thing is let's talk about what is blended learning. Blended learning is when your students are working on synchronous activities, so they're with you in maybe a small group or small learning community, and then there's other opportunities for them to work on asynchronous work that might be independent. So that is kind of the way to think about blended learning is students are doing some online activities with their computer and then some unplugged activities where they might be working with a group of students or they're meeting one-on-one with the teacher or in a small group. So that is like the main kind of thing. And then these different links right here can help you get some more information about how you could set this up so that it's successful in your classroom. The first one is station rotation. So with station rotation, this is a slide deck, and feel free to come in if you have another template, add your own. I'm pretty sure I allowed people to be editors. Yeah. So just come in here, add your own template on what you kind of think station rotation might look like. Or if you're already using this, you might have something that works and you want to share it with others. So just come in here, add a blank new one, and add your template into this slide deck. So with station rotation, what the students do is they travel between four different stations. So here's station one, where they might meet with the teacher. Another station, they're working on an independent practice. So for example, they're using Eureka Math, the problem set. And then there's a 4Cs activity. So this one is like a $1 million project where there might be doing something that is creative. They're collaborating with others. They're communicating. They're working on all these different skills that they're going to need to be successful, but they're also using the standard. So this one is like a PBL project. And then on here, there's the digital content. So during the digital content, students could use Zearn, they could use Edpuzzle, so many different options for the students to do. And then every 15 minutes, there's a timer right here. The students go to the next station. So once that timer goes off, they switch and they move depending on where they are. This one right here is, again, teacher-led, and then this one would be independent practice, digital content, and then this would be the 4Cs. Down here are additional resources, sometimes in the speaker notes, so you might wanna click and explore. This can just help your students, with everything. So you can organize all your stations into one place, and you can provide your students, those definitions. You can tell which students are going where, which ones are going where first, or you could maybe use this box for something else. So again, this is kind of what it might look like. Here's another example. Here's another one, and then here's another one. So if you are looking at station rotation, you might notice like all these different timers. So if you go over to YouTube, and then you can go to Gold EDU, and if you go over to the playlist section on this channel, you can see that there is a timer one. And there are all these amazing different timers that you could use for your station rotation. So I'm just going to add a slide that says timers because it does help when you have a timer and then your students can see it and they know, okay, I've got this much time to finish this activity or whatever. So again, timers can really, really help you with your station rotation. So feel free to add any of these timers onto your Google slide because timers can really help with that classroom management piece. And it can help you and your students stay on track to remember, okay, I need to switch now or whatever you might need to do. Okay. And again, add your own ideas to this slide deck as well if you have any that you might want to use or share with others. The next one is checklists. So I always suggest starting the year kind of in a station rotation model, even if you've been doing blended learning for 20 some years, just to get your students to realize what your expectations are and they can understand what is expected at every single type of learning activity. The only thing different from a checklist from a playlist is your students get to move as they finish. And so here are a few different examples, and checklists can look different. So there's not like a one size fit all type of thing. So right here, we've got a must do, then do, may do list. The kids have to do these activities, and then they have to do this, and then they might do this. Again, you can kind of see right here, there are additional ones in this slide deck. And there's a video of making one of these. But here are just some other ones. This one's using food, may do, must do, ketchup, pickle. This one is another must do, then do, may do kind of list. And again, there's a timer on that one as well. But most of the time, students get to pick the order of the task. It doesn't matter the order, but they just have to get them all done. Some tasks might include a timer. Some of them, it might just say work on it until you finish. It really just depends on the activity and the teacher. Here's another example of a checklist in Google Docs. So right here, you can see the focus. You can go in here, see the date. You can see what the activity is. And then the students circle the reflection. Do they got it or do they need help? And then right down here is the may do activities that the students could do. It also gives students expectations for what is expected during this time. And then Trello. So I did a session on Trello and blended learning. So feel free to watch this session. But right here, you can kind of see I go over the can do, must do, may do list using Trello. And Trello is really nice because you are able to, and in the YouTube description, there is a link to the slide presentation, and we can go ahead and kind of look at one of these. So in here, we've got the may do, must do list. This is this one. And this also talks about station rotation with Trello too. So you could use Trello for that as well. And you can move these cards around. So that's maybe something nice. Like you can have all these cards over here that you want to use. And then the students just see the ones that you have up. So that could be another great way to create that must do, may do, then do, may do list. And then choice boards. So choice boards could be another great idea. Usually I like to use choice boards within station rotation or the checklist. So if you're looking at the station rotation model, this one has a choice board. So right here, you can see that there's a choice board built onto this station rotation board. And so you could add that into your different options as well. Sometimes though, I've seen teachers use choice boards and like a tic-tac-toe board. So you have to do 3 of the activities before you can move on. I've even seen this one's like Amanda Sandoval where you have to do this, but then you can pick. So you could do some of these different activities in your blended learning and you're giving your students a choice on how they kind of want to learn. This is another really cool one. It's called the this or that choice board. So I might say you have to do that whole row, but students then get to pick. So in the Explore, they can either watch a quick video or they can watch the infographic. They get a choice on what one they want to do. And this could be kind of a really great way to organize your students' learning as well. So choice boards, again, can be a really great way, or using that this or that type of choice boards, leveling up. You've got level 1, level 2, level 3 here, or adding it onto your station rotation or must do, may do list could also be an option as well, or creating that tic-tac-toe type board where students have to do 3 of the activities out of all 9 or whatever you want to kind of create. Then finally, the grid method. So I did a session for Global GEG, and on here you can kind of see the whole grid method and the way that it's kind of organized. It goes into great detail, but basically what the grid method is right here, there's different levels, and the students travel throughout these different levels at their own pace. And so they're going through level 1, level 2, and level 3, and there's multiple different teacher check-ins that they have to do in order to move on. So to move on to level 2, they have to pass a formative assessment. They have to show the teacher that they've mastered all of the level 1 activities. Once they do that, they can go up to the level 2 activities, and there is a tracking grid. And you could use this tracking grid for your must-do, may-do list as well. But then it allows the teacher to kind of keep track of where every single student is and how they're doing. So we can kind of see here there was level 5 and so on. And again, the teacher is checking in with students throughout. One of my favorite ways to check in with students is Classroom Queue. So right here on the home page, This is Classroom Q, and I talk about it in the Trello session. But you just sign up as a teacher, and then your students, it's kind of like being at the BMV. They come in and they type in your code, and then once they have your code, they sign up to meet with you. So then you can conference with your students. You can see here I've got two different people. I can exit them out as I'm done, and then I can say, okay, another student that has a question can look up on that board and go, okay, I can work through some of these stuff. There's two people in front of me. Let me put my name on it. And then your students can continue to work until you're ready to call them up. So this could be another way to kind of manage blended learning and your students needing those check-ins. Because as a teacher, you're either meeting small group with students, you're looking over the data and you're differentiating your instruction and giving feedback to students, or there's times where you're working individually with students. And so you might be using Classroom Q to do so. So those are, again, just some ideas. Feel free to send me a Google chat if you need help implementing any of these ideas into your classroom. Send me an email. If you have another idea, please, 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 I'm going to add blended learning right to this Google form right now, but you can put in your email, your name, and then you can add your own resources, because this is just some of the different things I have, but there's so many different other things that you could use in your classroom. So if you have another idea, feel free to throw it in there, and then we can throw it out to the community. But I really hope this helps with blended learning and just kind of organizing your students, because blended learning can solve a lot of different problems in education. It helps you with differentiating. It helps you with meeting with your students one-on-one, that SEL learning. You're also able to have students be kind of using multisensory learning because they're going through different activities. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's audio, sometimes they're touching and playing. So it allows all of those different learning styles that might help a student be successful. So again, thank you for joining me. And if you need help, reach out.